And the reason for that, we think, is that these are the students that are actually cooperating in their everyday lives. If you're sitting on a pile of money, you don't need to cooperate. But if you don't have money, you need to cooperate with people in order to get things that you need to get. And if you live in a neighborhood of high social capital, then you have those cooperators, and those are the habitual cooperators. Those are the most cooperative people in the city. Well, finally, I am going to finish by 45 minutes. Here's one last test. We figured that decorating your home in the holiday season is a form of neighborliness, and that this should correlate with social capital. So we developed a numerical scale, and I had 20 volunteers just before Christmas last year. We censused 3,500 houses in the city of Binghamton, and there is there's some of our finest houses, but you don't have to be rich. Here's a low-income house that's full of the holiday cheer. This is my favorite. This is the north edge of the city, looking out over the city, and the clothesline is rigged so that Santa's taking off, leaving a trail of stardust. And there's the map for holiday decorations. We measured an entire city in 6 days. And there's the correlation with social capital. So what we're showing here is, in the first place, variation among neighborhoods in trust and the capacity for trust for cooperation at a small scale, which is validated. So we have this both from student self-report and also from these other methods. And now we're moving on to ask practical questions. And some of these are social, social in nature. How can we use this information to increase social capital, early childhood development, academic performance, bullying? I'm so interested in this project on spiritual development. What does spirituality mean anyhow in real everyday terms? What does it mean to be a spiritual or not a spiritual person? But then on this side we have things that are more health related that we're also studying. This is what I had here until about an hour ago, but then George had this wonderful quote in his talk. I just popped it into mine. You saw this just an hour or so ago. Medicine is a social science in its very bone and marrow. The literature on this subject says unequivocally that your social support network has huge effects on your physical and mental health. So that's why this talk belongs in this symposium. Well, let me now return to the full menu of major points that I wanted to make in this talk, which includes what I've just been recently talking about, plus these earlier points, and the solution, especially making evolutionary theory unthreatening, explanatory, and useful. Just 2 days ago, I gave a talk like this to a class at our local Bible college. And do you think they cared about the E word when I was providing all this interesting information about our communities and what we can do for our youth? No. Theology doesn't get in the way of practical solutions. They loved it. And I look forward to interacting with them. So this is the sense in which when you make an idea unthreatening, explanatory, and useful, then anybody wants to embrace it. And when I teach this material in a classroom format, this plus much more, when I have a whole semester with students, regardless of whether they've had evolution in the past or not, whether they're freshmen or graduate students, whether they're religious or not, whether they're politically liberal or a conservative, I get comments like this routinely. And I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about the theory. This course provides evidence that evolution is evident in everything. It revolutionized my way of viewing problems. Back to this idea of the unification of knowledge, basically. What we know about, what comes naturally to us as biologists, is something that can be applied to human related subjects. I came into class not knowing a lot about evolution. I now have an entirely new outlook on how evolution can be applied to many aspects of life. It made me view many situations in society from a positive evolutionary perspective. And finally, this one here, she scored a 10 on this question about views on evolution with a little smiley face. It's not boring anymore. I had taken evolution classes from high school and never felt it was interesting. But this class changed all my views upside down. The most boring theories became interesting thoughts that I could relate to my own day-to-day life. I wish I could have stayed here and taken more classes. So let me just end by showing you some websites here. They all begin this way. My personal websites where I have papers on this topic. EVOS, this is a campus-wide evolutionary studies program that we've started, which serves as a model for other institutions. The Binghamton Neighborhood Project, which I told you about. And also, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about religion, but that's a major interest of mine. And we have a wonderful website to establish evolutionary religious studies as a new field of scientific inquiry. So thank you very much.